Welcome everyone to this webinar on the latest release of the Field Data extension and the introduction of the Field Data Viewer. So today we're going to talk through the Trimble Access data flow from the office to the field and back. So we're first going to talk about setting up your project, then preparing data for the field, using that cloud data in the field, visualizing your field data in the cloud, and then bringing that field data back into the office to use on something like TBC. So let's get stuck into the workflow. So first off, setting up your project. So in Trimble Connect, the Trimble Connect project is the same as a project in Trimble Access. You can go to the Settings tab and Project Details and set your coordinate system. So if you set your coordinate system here, you can choose from a published list, or you can upload a CAL file or a JXL file with the coordinate system in it. That sets it for the project. You can also go to the Teams tab and invite all the users or admins you'd like to be part of that project. And now if we go to our Extensions tab and turn on the field data, we'll go to the new field data tab here. And this is where you can upload your feature code library. So this is where you're setting the feature code library for the project. Select upload and drag and drop your feature library in. You can also do this step from TBC. So you can't set the coordinate system from TBC, but if you go to the connected workspace, choose your project, then tap settings, this is where you can upload an FXL to the project. And that's it. Project is set up now with the coordinate system and the feature library, ready for any of the users or admins in that project to pull that down in the field. So now we want to get our data ready for the field team. So if we're working within TBC, the easiest way to do that is to use the remote save button. So right down the bottom in the export panel, instead of exporting it locally, you can choose remote save. And that then prompts you to choose what Connect project you want to save that file into. You browse to the right Connect project and you can save it directly to the cloud. There's also the option to save a file now as a project file. So you can see that save, there's a little arrow at the end of it. If you click that, you can choose a project file. And what that's going to do is that's going to save the file with a special tag, and it will, whenever a user signs into that project file will automatically download to the device. So rather than the field users browsing for the files, when a user signs into a project, all of the project files will automatically be downloaded down to the field user's device. If you don't use TBC, you can just simply drag or drop files into the Connect Explorer. It's just like a normal file explorer. You can also add that tag to the files directly within the Connect Explorer. So if you select the three dots in the Properties panel, scroll down to Add Tags, you can then add trimbleaccess.project file. Now, if you've turned on the field data extension, that tag should automatically be there, so you don't have to remember the capitals or the spelling. So you should just be able to choose it from the list. The other thing that you want to do or you can do in Connect is organize your data with permissions. So you can organize it. It's a regular file structure experience, folder structure experience. So you can create folders for different groups of data, groups of design files, and give different users access to different folders. So if you've got a team of engineers that you don't want to have access to the latest survey data, you can make the survey data folder only have permissions for the survey team members. It's a good way to make sure that people aren't overwhelmed with the amount of data that they have access to. They just see what they need. And you can also set up tags in Connect. So these tags, we're going to show you how you can use them with field data later on. So you can create tags to group field data and make it easier to find it later. So the next step is using that cloud data in the field. So how do we use that in Trimble Access? So we can see here in Trimble Access, this is our project screen. All of the grayed out projects are ones that we haven't downloaded yet. So we're going to select this project to download it. And the first thing that happens is those excuse my spelling of control points. Those project files are going to automatically download to the device. Any of the files that we saved as project files from TBC, or we added that Trimble Access.project files tag to in Trimble Connect, are automatically going to download to Trimble Access. Next thing we'll be prompted to do is we're trying to download the coordinate system here, but the coordinate system doesn't have a project height because it's not set in Connect. So we have to add a project height to the coordinate system. We add that project height, and then you see sort of a summary of the project. So we can see here we've got the project name, the coordinate system was set from Connect, the units was actually set from the coordinate system, the feature library was set from the one that we set in Trimble Connect. Our next step is to add project data. So project data are files that you want to reference to jobs, linked to Trimble Access jobs. Here you can see in this list automatically is the ones that were tagged with that Trimble Access tag. You can use the add button to add files, more files from Connect, or files from local, or even from a USB stick. So here I'm browsing back to Trimble Connect and adding this property boundaries file as well. That adds to my list. You can see the little cloud icon shows it's up to date. It's the latest version. So we want to then click next. And now we go into creating a job. Now, the new workflow here is you can see under job name, it says create from, and it's going to default to create from project settings. So you can see the properties now, it's the same coordinate system as the project settings, same units as the project settings, and same feature library as the project settings. So now any users within that project, they're going to essentially start with the right project settings. They're going to start with defaults that we set in the project. So this I think it really shows the power of if you set up the project right at the start, it means that later on, all your field users are going to be using the correct coordinate system, the correct feature library, and the correct units. Then when we're in our Trimble Access job, the layer manager has changed a little bit. It doesn't say point files and map files anymore. We've got project data and jobs. So that project data tab links is the same as what you see at that project level. And the jobs tab is just any existing other jobs you wanted to link to this for reference. You can turn them on there. So let's say we've done our work, we've finished it, now we want to upload it. The easiest way to do that is to change the status of the job. Oh, no, I'll go back a step. So this is our new jobs list page. So when we go into the project, you see you've got two tabs at the top, jobs and project data. So under jobs, you see a list of all the jobs in that project. And in the new tab, this is where you see project data. So this is new for us. This is a really easy way to manage your layer manager project data list. So here you can come to this point to either add any files or remove files. Previously, we didn't really have a way within the software to manage this list. The layer manager list just showed what was essentially in your project data folder. And if you added things, sometimes they would stay in the list, sometimes they wouldn't, depending on whether you added them from a subfolder or not. So we've tried to consolidate our workflows, and we've now created this project data list. So this is where you manage that project data in the project that's available to all jobs. So easily add files or remove them from this place here. Any files in that project data list will also be kept up to date. So if they're from the cloud. So if there's a new version of the file, then we'll warn you, there's a new version of this file, do you want to download it or postpone it? If you choose not right now, then the file name will actually be read in the list, and every time you try to turn it on, you can still turn it on. Every time you turn it on, it will prompt you again that there's a new version, do you want to download it? Yeah, so now we've done our work. How do we upload that to the cloud? The easiest way is changing status. So clicking that status icon and changing it from new, in progress, or fieldwork complete, any change in status will trigger an upload. You can also set an automatic upload to happen. So in our cloud settings, at our projects page, you can tap the cloud settings and set an automatic backup, go up every half an hour, for example. But it's always good practice to mark that job as fieldwork complete, because that will trigger an upload of all the latest data. What's new in that list too is the close status. So the closed status cannot be set from the field. It can only be set in the office. But what it does is it triggers all those closed jobs to be removed from the controllers. So if you're working on really large projects, sometimes the field team doesn't know which jobs to remove from the controller. This gives the office team a mechanism to mark jobs as closed, and then it will prompt to remove those jobs from the controllers in the field. Now, as you can see here, there's the ability to keep a closed job by unchecking the job in the list, and that lets you keep that job on the controller to use it as reference for work you're doing later on. You can always change your filters to display closed job and re-download them from the cloud if you do need them again, if they're removed. So they're not gone, but it's a mechanism to get those files and that data off the controller to free up space. There's other attributes that you can set on a job as well. So if you tap the three dots at the end and go details, that will take you to this job details page. Here you can change the status as well, but you can also set an assignee and tags. So if you know the person who might be processing that job, or you want to assign the job to someone else so they can carry it on, you can use the assignees tag to do assignees status to do that. And you can also use the tag status to add those tags that we created in the project to the job. And that's just going to help with organization. You can create tags that essentially say whatever you like. So you could have it describing the type of work, the area of the work, even if you wanted to, you could have it the initials or the subcontractor that did the work. So you can use tags however you like, that you can turn them on or off, add them or remove them from the job using this job details page. So we go, that's getting our data, setting up the project, getting the data setting up our data for the controllers, using the data in the controllers, and uploading it back to the cloud. Hamish, I'll hand to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Luke. So with the upcoming changes to the field data extension in Trimble Connect, which we're showing here on the screen, we're going to be removing the map display that you may be familiar with already, as well as the list of jobs that have been synchronized to the project from Trimble Access. And instead, we're replacing it with the big blue button at the top there. And when you click that, it's going to open the Field Data Viewer, which is a new application built inside Trimble Connect. So when you click on that button, it will open a new tab in your browser. And you're going to get a view that looks like this here, where you see your jobs in a list on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, you're seeing a map with all of the feature-coded points and line work from those jobs. The list of jobs on the left-hand side here is scrollable. It's going to show you all of the information about each one of the jobs, like who it was created by, who it's been assigned to, when it was last updated, and most importantly, what the status of that job is. When you click into one of those jobs, then you're going to get a whole lot more information about what is contained within that job. The goal here is to make access to this information really simple. If you need to go in and look at what reports have been done for the job and what they contain to make sure the work has been done to spec, what exports might be attached, what link files have been used for the job, any other attachments to the job, and also any images that are on the job as well. So you no longer have to drop the job into Trimble Business Center to see that or access that sort of information. You can now do that from here inside Trimble Connect. There's also a full set of filters that you can use to shorten the job list. If you do have a lot of jobs, and it may be easier to use the filters to look for a specific job that you want using tags like Luke was describing just before, or based on user as well. But once you have set those filters, then you can come in and change the properties for the jobs as well. In the video here, we're showing how to find a job that is marked as field work complete by the field user, and then you can come in, change that status to closed. That's going to move it from the list here in the field data viewer, but it's also going to trigger that removal step inside Trimble Access that Luke spoke about before as well. But alongside the job view, we also have this layer-based or this feature-based view of the points and line work within those jobs. So if you want to start diving into the points, features that have been captured in the field in Trimble Access, you can now see those and manage the visibility of those, as well as select those features and look at what properties or what attributes were captured, and even look at the metadata for those features. So who collected it, when was it collected, even information like what version of Trimble Access was used and what device was used. This makes finding data across jobs in a project much simpler by having that spatial view. And you can also use this to find other work that was done in the same job. If you want to look at all of the work that was done or understand in what jobs the data was collected in. Just like we have for the form list, for the job list, we have a set of filters for the map content as well. So if you want to look at all of the work that was done by a specific person, or if you want to look at work that was done on a specific day or a specific date range, then you can use the filters to filter that down here as well. What's new also in this update for the field data viewer is the ability to create new jobs from within Trimble Connect. Now that you can see all of the data that has been, or all of the work that has been done across jobs, it makes it much easier to see work that hasn't been done. And so you can use this view and this workflow for creating jobs to send a new piece of work out to the field. In this case, I think Luke missed a bunch of trees over on the side of the reserve here, but get that job set up, get that assigned to a user who's still out in the field, get them to go and do the work that needs to be redone before they're driving back to the office, so they're not having to drive back out just to do a small task like this here. But the new job workflow is not just for, addressing work that had been missed in the field. If you're starting a new project and you need to send out a surveyor to do the initial layout or some initial site prep, then you can create a new job. And you can even attach files to the job from within Trimble Connect, so that the crew working in the field know exactly what files they need to use to perform this job. And that's what the video is showing here, where I'm linking a file from within Trimble Connect to the job. And that means when this job is opened or when it's downloaded onto the controller, the file is going to be automatically downloaded with it. That's it. Back to you, Luke.
Okay, so we've got the data in the cloud. We can visualize it in the cloud. We can create more jobs. How do we get that data back down and use it in an Office program? So in the field data viewer, next to every job, there was a little download icon, and you can just tap that and that'll download that job directly as a zip file with everything associated with that job. So it'll be the job, a JXL of that job. If there are any photos or scans or reports, all of that will come down in the right format, so you can bring it into any application that consumes Trimble data, Trimble Access data. If you're using TBC directly, then the connected workspace is a really streamlined way of doing that as well. So you tap the connected workspace button at the top left of the toolbar, then you choose your project. Instead of clicking this top button, select the field data button, and then in there you'll see a list of every single job within that project. You have the same filters as you do in the field data viewer. So you can filter that data down if you're trying to find something. But from here, you can select the job, use the properties panel to just quickly review it and check if it's the one you need, and then tap import, and that'll import it directly into that TBC project. And you can use it for, do your post-processing or surface creation or whatever sort of workflows you need in TBC. And that's it. So thank you all for listening. Hopefully you will learn something. If you have any questions, then reach out to your distributors, and I'm sure they can help you out.
Thank you.